Hey guys, Nikki with This Robin's Nest. So in today's video I'm going to share with you up to date where I'm at with the meal planning situation. So in this last week I kind of just tried to get more familiar with the forms that I showed you guys last week. So what I did is I went through inventory in my pantry, in my freezer, and I'll kind of tell you what I learned a little bit about it in preparation for next week, where I will actually go through how I prepare my shopping list and my meals and stuff like that, and we will actually get into doing some meal planning. So I took these sheets and I did a pantry inventory list. So just to show you guys, give you guys an idea, and I used pencil so that I could maneuver things around until I figure out the sheets and how I'm going to be using them. Then I'll probably use pen because I just like to use pen better. What I learned from this process is there was nothing in the inventory list for things like in the refrigerator that you already have, and but there was for freezer and pantry. So kind of had to make a little bit of adaptations for that. And the other thing I noticed is that I don't have a ton of stuff because, I'm just not preparing and I'm not organized. And then I noticed I had a whole bunch of certain things that I never use, and then I had hardly any of the ingredients that I would need to actually be making meals from scratch. So it was really good for me to go through and do this pantry inventory. So for instance, I have listed under baking and supply Walker shortbread cookies. And I had 7 packs of Walker shortbread cookies. So I filled up the whole line of how many I had. and I hardly ever eat them. But I had accumulated 7 packs. So now I know that I need to come up with some recipes, whether it be dessert or putting, incorporating snacks, that we need to go through those so they don't expire. Because I also found other foods during this process that had expired because I didn't know I had them. They were tucked away behind something. They never got used or incorporated into a plan. So I know some people have recommended, they don't even, need to use these kind of forms. They're just so good at their meal planning that they could just do it. But for me, this is a good visual reminder of what I have a lot of, what I hardly have any of, what I need to go through because I have so much of it. And that helps me prioritize in my meal planning of what I want to make. Okay, so another thing that I did was if I had a full box or package of something, I marked an X. If I had something like a bottle of vanilla as a flavoring for baking, and it was already open, then I'd only do a line. I wouldn't make the X. So I knew I had some, but it was in the process of being used. So in reality, I would like to, in my baking supplies, have an X for everything, because that means that I know I have a backup, and then one that's open. So that also helps me know what I need to add to my shopping list. I had 4 packs of marshmallows, 2 of which had expired. I think every time I go to the grocery store and I buy Rice Krispies, I automatically go get marshmallows thinking I'm going to make Rice Krispie treats, and then I don't make them, and then things expire. And I don't want my food to be expiring. That's so wasteful. I don't want to be wasteful or create as little waste as possible during this process. Okay, so cereals and grains. This also helped me to see how we're eating too. We have a lot of snack foods, you guys, and I really want to cut back on that. So under cereals and grains, I had a box of Cheerios and Raisin Bran and one opened box of Rice Krispies, and I had 4 boxes of Pop-Tarts. I don't need 4 boxes of Pop-Tarts. I want to have those grains and other things built up. So not just for meal planning, but this is good for helping me know, just what I have on hand. So I know I have so many Pop-Tarts because there was a coupon deal and I stocked up on them, which is fine. But I'd like the ratio of things that are a little bit healthier to be higher than the things that are not as healthy. Let me see what else I learned from here. We have 8 jars of peanut butter. We need to go through some peanut butter. So that was for that inventory list. So I ended up with categories that I didn't even have boxes checked off, which just because there's a category doesn't mean you need to have a box checked off, but it was surprising to me to see which categories were kind of empty. So I didn't have any on this sheet for the freezer of prepared meals. I would like to have some prepared meals in the future when I get better at meal planning and making extra and then putting away in the freezer. I've never been the kind of girl who freezes things and then re-eats them later. I always feel like there's going to be like bacteria in it, or we'll just end up getting food poisoning or something like that. But I really need to move past that hurdle and start doing it because lots of people freeze their food and re-eat it later, and they're still alive and living, and we would be too. So I'm gonna need to try to add to that in the future. Fruits and vegetables in the freezer, I only had broccoli. Literally, that's it. I would like to have some more frozen fruits to make smoothies and things of that nature. Snacks and miscellaneous in the freezer, I had frozen pie crust and Cool Whip, so not too bad. Meats and seafood, I had 2 packs of bacon and an opened pack of chicken tenderloins. So we don't freeze a whole lot of food, but I can stock up on freezer supplies. Okay, and then canned vegetables, we had corn, we had olives, that was it. Pretty sad. Canned fruit, we had canned pears, that was it. Pretty sad. And then, you guys, the category that I filled up the most was rice and pasta. I mean, this has a number of selections to choose from. We do eat a lot of starchy pasta, so I want to cut back in that area. We didn't really have any seafood. We're not a big seafood family, but we had some tuna fish and soup, sauces. I mean, you guys are getting the point. The lists are working well for me in taking inventory of what I have, because then when I go to make my meal plan next week and list the meals that we use regularly and create recipes and stuff like that, it'll help me to see which ingredients I already have on hand, and that will help me to better make my shopping list. So that's where I'm at in the meal planning process, you guys. So I just thought I would update you that I did pantry, freezer, and refrigerator inventory. And I used an extra sheet from my inventory list to write what I had down in the refrigerator. And I don't know if that I'm not sure why that's not part of this packet, but it was missing for me. I'm going to actually go back and make sure I didn't miss the sheet of paper now that I think about it. But it wasn't in there. But I love these forms and these sheets all the same, and they're so pretty to look at, and it made it more fun for me. I enjoyed it, having these pretty papers to look at. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and next week we will get into the meat and potatoes of meal planning and get started on this process.